And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV, and today we have a very special guest. We have Robin Smith of Keller Williams. Did you say Las Vegas or Nevada?
Keller Williams, Las Vegas.
There we go, Keller Williams, Las Vegas. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and joining me on Real Estate Pros.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me. And nice air-conditioned
Absolutely.
location. Love it. Awesome.
Nice being indoors here.
Yes.
In Las Vegas, it's like 105 out.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah,
We're getting there.
just about. So for those watching that don't know who you are, we'll give you a moment to introduce yourself.
Okay, I will be happy to. Again, easy name, Robin Smith. I'm over at Keller Williams, Las Vegas. I've been blessed to be in the real estate industry for 30 years, of which 13 years was new home sales and 17 years has been resale. So again, I say the word blessed. There's not many dinosaurs out there that can say 30 years. And been able to go with the ups and downs and all the learning and continue to learn every single day that I get up.
I was just impressed by the amount of things that you do, teaching classes, helping other people's have a long career in real estate, while at the same time producing at a really high level here in Nevada. So what is the secret to being successful in real estate?
I think that the best thing I can say about being successful in real estate is to know that it's constantly changing. When I say every day I get up and I learn something new, that is no fallacy. It is absolute truth. You have to stay on top of it and learn and tons of exposure. You touched on teaching classes. When I'm outside of my head and I'm giving back to others and I'm teaching classes or I'm traveling the world, I do that for Rotary and do special events. I find that when I'm outside of here and I'm giving back, it opens many doors that also takes me to the next step in real estate, and the next step, and the next step. It's always about opportunity.
Sure.
So when you're learning, you have growth, and when you're exposing yourself in a good manner, it creates opportunity.
Mm-hmm. So you've been in real estate for 30 years now. So
Don't say that too much with boldness.
They're like one, you survive. We know how it seems like real estate agents drop like flies. There's a industry downturn, and a lot of people get out of the business. They want it easy. But what's the secret? And not necessarily the secret, but what are your focuses today in 2019 to continue success?
My focus today, and I believe that it will be for the next few years, we'll see what happens after that, is truly competing with today's technology. And today's technology has brought on what we call an iBuyer. Mm-hmm. And your iBuyers, I don't have to say anything, anybody that's in real estate knows, and anybody who turns on a TV, listens to a radio, etc., you know what Open Door, OfferPad, and Zillow are. They are now the easy way, based on people's perception on how to sell real estate, and my game is to make sure that Robin Smith and the Smith team stay relevant in today's market and a pertinent part of the market with a pertinent part of the market share.
Sure.
And do not become a thing of the past.
Right, and I think when these iBuyers first introduced themselves into the market, I think a lot of real estate agents didn't really take them seriously. They seem it's a fad. What is your perspective on the iBuyers? Are they here to stay? Is it, what is your take on it?
They're not going anywhere. Technology isn't going anywhere. It's only getting better and better and better. So they have come in and they gained a certain percentage of market share, and people thought it was just going to be that and they were going to go away, and no, they've become quite relevant and they've taken more market share. And the thing that agents need to do primarily is educate themselves. What is an iBuyer? How relevant are they? What are their practices, etc.? And how am I different? Okay, how can I make it different for the consumer? And really sharpen the tools. As long as you know who your competition is, doesn't matter if it's an iBuyer, if it happens to be Joe Smith, the realtor at another location. You know, it's all about who your competition is and getting to know them and learning all about them and knowing where you are, what you can bring to the table that's more relevant than them.
Right. So what are those things that you can bring to the table outside of, you know, I think a lot of people may gravitate towards iBuyers for convenience. You know, there's a lot of different reasons why people would, but how do you, as a real estate agent, continue to add value to the transaction to where they're saying, you know what, I want to continue to hire the Robinson. They add so much value to the transaction that, you know, it's a no-brainer.
Well, the nice thing about it is when we're through with a transaction, we ask people to literally put out what their experience was with Reach 150, as an example. And the reason why I bring this up is I just opened one today. We'll open it up on the way here. Of course, I was pulled over to the side of the road at a stop sign. You know. But I opened that up, and it happened to say in there, they made me part of the family. Okay? There's an experience when you have someone that is a professional. I'm absolutely I'm a professional, and I have a profession, and that's a realtor. And what we bring to the table is to make sure that not only do we make it with as much ease, because what you pointed out about the iBuyer is why people gravitate is because they think that it's easy, and they think that they're going to get a comparable offer. That's what the advertising says. Well, when you can sit down and you can show them that you will make it as easy as possible for them to sell their home in as quick a manner as possible, at the right price, and net them more money. And by the way, the national average is 11% difference between traditional sale through a realtor versus an iBuy. And if you can literally show them and give them that peace of mind that everything's going to be okay and they're going to get to their next step and you're going to make sure of it, and you can say that with all confidence, our closing rate is 98 to 99% on all of our listings. So and by the way, the stats for GLV are under 70. So when you can say that with that confidence and you can move them forward, then you truly have brought something to the table. And there's many, many, many steps to that, but I'm not going to give that all away.
Can't give out the whole
I'm not going to give it a no.
Secret sauce. So
Yeah.
what advice would you give to a brand new agent starting today in this environment?
I would, to a new agent in
Yeah.
this environment, I would say, please make sure, match yourself up with somebody that you want to learn from, okay? That you want to truly study, learn from, can attach to, become part of, and take it from there. I think that in great rarity, is there one that can do it on their own? You never say never, never, because there is. Yet, if a new agent literally attaches themselves to somebody that they respect, can learn from, and move forward, they will get through so much more of the hurdles than if they did it on their own.
Right.
You know, it's like, why reinvent the wheel? Learn from the best. And that's what I truly believe.
And this podcast is a opener for you have another presentation at Inman, which is huge.
I do.
So
I do.
talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, because of my reputation in working with and educating agents about what's an iBuyer and how to become relevant in today's market and stay in today's market, I was introduced to Inman by another agent in my office. He was amazing at technology, Danny Fee, and I will say his name because if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have interviewed me. They got my name, I talked to him on the phone, and they said, we'd like you to be part of a panel, and we'd like you to educate agents from all over the world on what they could possibly do to show their relevancy in today's market. So it's quite the honor bestowed.
That's awesome. And then Were you on TV? You're on TV too, Channel 5?
Yeah, Channel 5.
So you're not afraid of lights, cameras.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about my coloring today,
Yeah.
but other than that,
Hey,
you
we're
know,
we're we're glad you made it in.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
So talk to us a little bit about your specific team. What does it consist of? How do you guys operate?
People think that we're a very large team, and because of the transactions that we do, we did in 2000, and I have to think what year it is. In 2017, we did 217 transactions, and 2018 we did 156 transactions. We're on schedule today to do, I would say, approximately 185 transactions this year, even with all the ups and downs. But our team, it consists of my twin brother and myself.
Oh, wow.
His name is Robert D. Smith. He is not my husband. I always have to tell
So
people.
Robin and Robert?
Robin and Robert were twins. Yeah,
Really?
real original.
No, have you guys worked together for...
Since 2003.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he is
cool.
the backbone, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I'm the, if one could say I'm the steering wheel and he's right here keeping me, straight. I tend to be the rainmaker and he's the analyst. He's a CPA.
Makes
So,
sense.
yeah,
right?
total analyst, which is awesome. Yet I couldn't do what we do without him.
Right.
So it's him and I, and we have two awesome full-time assistants. I have one buyer's agent, and I have a listing agent. And behind the scene, I have a young lady that helps us with the Facebook, et cetera, and then I have a professional blogger that helps me out. So, but that's the Smith team.
Wow, so
It truly
pretty
is.
tight knit group.
Yeah, nuts and bolts. It's us.
But you have everything covered. Buyers,
covered.
sellers. Steering wheel. I like your
Yeah.
analogy. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. What are those things that you guys do to stay in contact with because obviously you've been in the business for a long time. What are those activities that you do to make sure you stay in touch with your past clients and sphere of influence?
Well, we are on Brivity. Okay, that's our source, our main, and we just make sure that every single month our past clients are obviously touched every single month. I'm a bit old-fashioned. I got away from it for the longest time, and now that I'm back into it, the phone calls tell me that I'm doing the right thing, and that's a good old-fashioned heart-to-heart letter, not your typical update here, your newsletter here. We do it all. It's not that we're missing any of that. We do it all. Your birthday cards, your this, your that. Our 5 events a year that we do on their behalf. We have fun events. We do all of that, and then I found that sometimes people just want to have a touch, and when they get a letter in the mail and it tells them something new, I send those out quarterly, and gives them a little bit of insight, and I find that the phone is ringing more than ever because I don't have the opportunity with such a tight group to be on the phone all the time.
Right.
Doing all sorts of things there. So I find that little bit of touch, as old-fashioned as it is, it's monumental. So, and people enjoy it, and they're like, I read your letter, and I've had some people, I sent those letters out from 2003 to 2007.
Oh, wow.
And I stopped for years, and you're talking 11 years, and I have some people call me up, I miss those letters. They've been in their home that long.
Right.
And I'll say, okay, is it time to sell now? But I find that we send those to our database. So we're not only in touch with our database, which is our database is well over 1,500 people. We also have a farm and good old-fashioned farming. To this day, we do approximately somewhere between 45 to 50 neighborhoods that have been consistently my farm since the early 2000s.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
So you're...
It's consistency.
Yeah.
whatever you do.
I know. It sounds like since 2000 you've been farming these same neighborhoods.
2003 to 2003 to
15 years.
2007.
So talk to us, if somebody's interested in getting into farming, which I think it's a long-term thing, right? You can't expect results immediately. Oh, I put $50 or $500 or or whatever you invest in to getting your name out there in a particular neighborhood. How long did it take to actually see results from the farming efforts?
Well, that was an up and down. Initially, it was amazing because I left selling homes. I was selling for Pulte Homes, and I left them after 10 and a half years. I had to sit on a teenage daughter at the time. She was more than a handful. So I decided, okay, well, I'm going to go into general real estate, and then there was a deer in the headlight, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm in general real estate, and I'm used to new homes, and I was in general for 2 years. And then I decided to go into new homes because I wanted to know construction, and I wanted to know how homes were built, because why put somebody in your car if you don't know how the home's built? If they ask you a question, you should be able to answer it,
Right.
at least attempt to wisely. So I found myself back into general real estate, and a total of 13 years later, because I was with another builder for a year and a half, and then Pulte for 10 and a half. So 13 years later, and I'm going, okay, what do I do? And a dear friend said, why don't you reach out to everyone that you've sold homes to over those years? I thought, well, that's pretty smart. So I started taking on those neighborhoods. Well, the initial neighborhoods were about 7 to 10. And then that grew and that grew and that grew. So again, we're about 50 now. And the initial response was everybody was absolutely on board. They were like, yeah, I know you, or you sold so-and-so their home, or you know the product better than anybody. So that first year back in the saddle, actually the following year, back in the saddle again, sold over 70 homes. Okay, so not too bad.
That's
okay, going from one to the other.
that's walking for you, right? You're like 70 homes. You think about all the work that goes into each transaction.
Yeah, so, then it was like, Robert, I need you to get on board here. So, of course, he went out and got licensed, and instead of just helping me out in the evening, he was helping me all the time. So it worked out great. And then we all know what happened in 2008, okay? Well, then the pocketbook got tighter and got tighter and tighter and tighter, and I'm thinking, you know what? I found myself in short sales, and because I tend to be a bit of a Rottweiler, what my mom called me, her little Rottweiler, when it comes to when I put my teeth into something, getting it done and getting it done right. I did over 200 short sales and negotiated them, not lawyers. I negotiated them. So at that point in time, because of the time that was allotted to short sales and the money was tighter coming in, and et cetera, the mailing stopped. And then the market started to change and shift, and I'm like, you need to go back to old fashioned. You need to get the postcards out there and let people know that you're still in the business. Well, that works all fine and dandy, but that wasn't a warm and fuzzy touch. And the warm and fuzzy touch, it certainly got the phone ringing, but the warm and fuzzy touch came back with being the simplicity of a letter. And I even have realtors that, because of course realtors live in those 50 neighborhoods, and they'll say, oh, I got your letter. That's really neat. That's some great information. I haven't seen anybody copy it. So I'm not saying everybody run out there and copy it, yet if you are gonna copy, the idea of just going into a neighborhood and being warm and fuzzy and really them getting to know you. Don't just spurt stats.
Right.
Let them get to know you, and let them know that you're a human being, and talk about things that other than recipes. I love those newsletters. It's like, please, recycling bin. Anyway, let them get to know you, and it really does work.
Awesome.
Yeah. People just want to know. They just want to know that you're real,
Right.
and that you care,
Yeah.
and that you're knowledgeable. That's not bad.
So however you can convey that to people, whether it's social media, writing letters,
All of the above. You can't skip it. It's continuous. And anytime you think that you're going to let the foot off the pedal, you're going to stall.
Mm-hmm. So where do you see the current? Obviously, did you say you're a Nevada native?
I am.
So how have you seen? Obviously, Las Vegas has changed significantly.
Yeah.
since you started in real estate?
Let's see. Well, since I arrived here from Carson City, Nevada, we have grown from over just shy of 300,000 to 2.3 million. So there's just been a small growth spurt. And as far as being in real estate, I couldn't even tell you in 1989 what the population was. I wasn't as ingrained in the population stats, yet I knew at that time what percentages we were growing at, et cetera. And Vegas is a very sound market. People will say when we went up to 4 months inventory in January, for example, oh my goodness, henny penny, the sky is falling down and the market's gonna flip and we're gonna go into a disaster hole again. No. We're roughly, I may be off a little bit, but we're roughly 2.5 months inventory right now, and we're steady. We've got a growth of 2 to 3%. Who wouldn't want to have a growth percentage of 2 to 3%, excuse me, and we're steady. And the nice thing about it, as long as we stay steady, we don't need to see this. We certainly don't need to see this. Steady is perfect, and we've got it.
Because back in the day, or back in '08, this is probably one of the markets that was hit almost the hardest.
Yeah, we went into a train wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even it was a pure train wreck. You go from selling roughly $77 million in real estate at that point in time, which is what my brother and I were doing, and we went into it was a wreck. Yeah, it was crumpled, so it's okay.
So what part of the valley do you cover?
The entire valley, it's Las Vegas.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, it's the Las Vegas basin, so we cover Henderson, North Las Vegas, and Vegas. I get calls all the time from people from out of state that are referring us business. And they'll say, well, what area do you cover? The Las Vegas basin. What areas do you know? The Las Vegas basin. I've sold it. So there's not many areas, very, very few areas that I have not sold in. So we know the basin. We're out in the basin on a regular basis. We know new construction, we know existing construction, we know who the builder of different locations have been. So if someone says, well, do you know who built the home? Typically, yes.
So for those watching that may be interested in having your team represent them in real estate, or an agent that may have a couple additional questions, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, the best way is you can either get hold of Robin at smithteamlasvegas.com, and yes, it's all spelled out, Robin, R-O-B-I-N, at Smith, S-M-I-T-H, teamlasvegas.com, or another way is iselllasvegas.com, and that is mine. And the phone number that anyone can text me at, I do have my phone answered 24/7 because I don't like people getting an answering service. I believe that, an answering a voicemail. I'm old-fashioned. I like people talking to human beings. I want you to talk to a human being. So when you reach out, you can either text me at 702-460-5080, or you can call that number and you will have one of my assistants answering the phone, or my 24-hour answering service, and they text me immediately.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Robin, for taking time out of your busy day. Good luck on the Inman panel.
I know.
And we will see you guys on the next episode.
Okay. Thank you.